Hey, good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday. It's Felicia Vaughn here, and I am so excited to chat with you guys this morning. We're having another brave conversation today, and I have a special guest. Legit, I'm so excited. I can't wait to tell you more about my guest. But in the meantime, I'd love for you guys to come on in. Take a seat. I'm sitting on the floor. You can sit on your couch. You can just roll over in your bed. Whatever you're doing, wherever you are, I hope that you're comfortable. Grab a cup of tea, a cup of coffee. I have some tea this morning, some lemon ginger tea right here for the vocals. But yeah, we're gonna have a good brunch time conversation. So let's see who's hopping on already. Let's see here. Feel free to tag someone, share. I'm telling you guys, the conversation today is going to be so good, and I am looking forward to engaging with everyone. Okay. All right. Okay, if you're in, go ahead and say something so I can see that you are here. Okay, there are a couple people in here. Say good morning so that I could see you, because I can't wait to talk to you guys. All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you for hopping in. Let's see. Okay, we got Mr. Mason already logging in. I love the support. He's here to support his woman. That is amazing. Let's see. Fancy, I see you, boo. Good morning. Good morning to you and your new baby and your whole family. Good morning. How you guys doing this morning? You guys excited for the weekend? Let me know if you have anything planned. For me, I just plan on resting today. So let me know what you guys are doing. If you have anything, give me some ideas other than laundry. Let's see here. Okay, there everyone is. Awesome. All right, well, I don't even want to hesitate anymore. I really, guys, I'm so excited to bring my friend on and share this conversation with you guys. Oh my God. So let's see here. Let me just close out all of this. All right. So first of all, if you have not, good morning, Brandon. My husband is on. I made him choose between me and IKEA this morning, and he chose me. Good job, husband. Love you forever. Algie says hi. Hi, Algie. We miss you. Good morning, Kim. Kimberly Gums from Sanford, Florida. Good morning. Thank y'all for hopping in the conversation with me today. I'm excited about today's brave conversation, and I'm going to tell you why. But first, maybe Tracy Ann, my cousin from Jamaica, is on here. Hi, Tracy Ann. Sasha, good morning. Buenos dias. Good morning. Mr. Mason is on here. Oh, love it. Thank you guys for commenting. Let me know that you're here. Please share this. I'm really excited about this conversation because I feel like it's something that we need to talk about, and it's also going to be very refreshing. So please, Brittany's here. Yay! Let the fun begin. Oh man, I'm excited. Nothing like having a good conversation with friends. So if this is your first time having a conversation with me or seeing any of my videos, my name is Felicia Siobhan, and I'm an actor, a director, a writer, and first-time author. I wrote a book called It's a Whole Mood, I usually have it with me, but it's probably upstairs. The Art of Unpacking and Accepting Your Wholeness. And it talks about the journey that I went through with God to transform my life and what I believed about myself, and how he helped me to unpack every area of my life so that I can, show up confidently, right? And funny enough, a lot of the areas that I had to unpack were relationships. And that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm also the owner of Felicia Writes, which is a content company that specializes in creative content, products, events that help people to rewrite internal narratives, embracing God's truth about themselves, and to show up in their daily lives and for their God-given purpose. And so part of that whole way that I do that are conversations like this, really honest and open conversations, sometimes uncomfortable conversations, but I believe that communication is a gift that God gave us, to discover things about him and ourselves. And so nothing gets me more like geeked than a really good conversation where you just feel like your soul just went through the laundromat, or the drive-in thing where you get your car washed, So I'm excited to have one of those today with my special guest, Kiara Mason. So if you guys are friends of Kiara, if you know Kiara, if she brought you here, go ahead and chime in. Let her know that you're excited to see her on here. This is our first time having a public conversation together. And we are good for some Instagram DM conversation. So we're going to let you guys into behind the scenes of what it's like to go back and forth on Instagram with us. But yes. So I'm going to introduce her because it's always weird to give your own introduction. So Kiara Mason, where do I begin? Kiara is a friend of mine that I got to meet when we were both single. And the beautiful thing about our relationship is that we got to see ourselves both go through different seasons, right? Our single stages. I got to see her get married, and then now she's a mother of two beautiful babies. They look like they're straight from Israel, just heavenly children, named River Lee, and her newest addition to her family, Levi Arrow, who hopefully he makes a guest appearance on the show because I promised people that he would be on here. What I love about Kiara is she's a proud mom, a content creator, and she has worked in the field of social work, but now I think it's interesting that she's using that heart and her gift of encouragement, because it really is a gift, and she's a true encourager by the definition, to help people and encourage them through her content. And she focuses a lot on family. Her and her husband started a few companies, and I'll let her get into that. But one of them is Meet the Masons Today. And they really are just a symbol of the strength of a family, which is amazing. And so yeah, there's so much more I can say about her, but I will let you just experience her firsthand. Okay, guys. So Brittany says, Levi, come on, Levi, come to Auntie. Yes, please. I hope Levi's ready for his appearance because we're ready for his trial sermon. I feel like he would play the harp or something, like just be really like, have on like some linen pants and just no top, and just would be like playing a really big like harp trombone horn that he can blow. But anyways, enough about that. I want to bring in my friend, Kiara Mason.
Hey. Good morning. You have me cracking up over here.
Huh?
You have me cracking up over here. Oh my gosh.
Good morning, Kiara.
Good morning, friend.
Wow. First of all, you just look so stunning. You didn't tell me we were doing it big today.
Oh no, you gave me a reason to dress up and put on some makeup, so I appreciate it.
You gave me a reason to put on pants today. So I actually have on a full pant situation. So how you doing?
I am doing great. The kids, they may make a grand appearance. They're downstairs so that you guys can actually hear me talk. Okay. Otherwise, they would probably take over. But I am doing great this morning. I am happy to be up and feeling good.
Do you usually get up this early on a Saturday?
I do actually. I'm an early bird by nature, so I'm usually up by 6 or so. I did sleep in until probably about 8. I was tired, but yeah, I am.
Oh, I love it. Well, I love you. I love your family. And how can I forget? You just recently, you and Jared just recently released a product, a book.
Yeah.
Which I'm so excited about. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the book is an ebook and it's called 101 Date Night Ideas and Why You Should Keep Dating Your Spouse. So we actually were working on another project because we did an intimacy challenge last year this time.
And that was
and
great.
So,
I did that challenge. It was
yes,
really
you were a part of it. And it was amazing. I got such good feedback. So we were going to make it an ebook and a course and all these different things. And then one day I woke up with this idea of this date night ebook. So I told Jared and he was like, let's do it. And we literally did it in like 2 weeks, which is unheard of. It was our first project and we worked together to write it. And it was a big deal. But we made it because we just have such a heart for marriages, especially young marriages and singles going into marriage. So we thought that it was important to really display the importance of continuing to get to know your spouse.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. And even, like I said, seeing you go through that transition from single to married, and I was still single when you were married, you never made me feel like I was like at the bottom, of the barrel. You know what I mean?
Good. I'm glad. Yeah.
Yeah. So I love that. And I can see even through your content that family is just so important to you and Jared. Was that like something that you guys just like, how did that even get woven into all that you guys do?
I think when we first met each other, we realized that we were like one and the same. Like he was the guy version of me. Like he was into pageants. I had just got out of the Miss UCF pageant. We loved the Spanish language. We love culture. It was like, are you kidding me? Like we're just so similar. And family was just very important for him. He mainly grew up in Japan. And so most of his family was in Chicago, but he was with his family unit, immediate family unit. So that was a very strong unit for him. And for me, I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida, aka Duval. I gotta do it. But I saw like all my cousins and aunties like every day. So family was so important to both of us in different aspects. My extended family was like my immediate family. His immediate family was very tight. So we just, family was just always important to us. And so we knew when we were married, like we wanted to make sure that foundation was very strong within our unit.
Yeah. Do you ever get like nervous? Because I know like with your content, which I love, by the way, you guys kind of get very real. Like you share your birthing stories, you know what I mean? Like everything about, purchasing your home, like all your milestones and even some like very intimate moments, like you allowed to be on camera and shared with the world. Like, girl, like, how
we're crazy
about those moments, or do you feel very comfortable? Like, how do you do that?
I am very transparent by nature. I just feel like, I think I got it from my pastor too. That's one thing I loved about my pastor, is that he was just very open and honest about his feelings as not only a pastor, but as a man, and navigating Christianity and his own relationship with God, and displaying that to the people, because I was raised, you're a Christian and just do what the Bible says, and we don't talk about personal things. And so my pastor was a good example of that, and I just made me come out of my shell even more. And so sometimes it's easy, it's really easy to say, and I don't even think twice about it, but sometimes I put it out there and I'm like, did I just really tell everybody my whole heart and soul? And I feel naked sometimes. It's like I get that feedback from people saying they really needed it, it changed their life, and I'm like, okay, woo, it was worth it.
Ooh, transparency is big. And that's one thing that I love about you, is like, if I ask you a question, you're like, okay, let's go there. Like, you're just very, very real, which I love. I want to say hey to some of the people who are on here. Elizabeth just hopped on. Hey, Liz.
Oh, hi, Liz.
We had a wonderful conversation last week and people are still talking about it, Liz. So girl, just get ready for part 2. And thank you for hopping on. Jared said transparency is key. Now let's talk about Jared, because really that's what we want to do. We want to know the real deal on Jared. JK. But what is it like working with your husband? And I've heard people say, don't do it. And I've heard people say, you need to work together. But it could be challenging, because I feel like sometimes with spouses, we could be harder on each other than we are on people, like friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have more grace for other people, but with our spouses, like, you should did that already. Like, you already know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so what was it like working with him?
Oh my gosh. So initially we had our separate careers. Like, I was in social work, he was in insurance. He went to school for like business management, project management. And then we decided a couple years into our marriage that we wanted to do a YouTube channel. So that was like kind of our first time working together. And it was like, oh, this is fun and cute. Like, this is a little side hobby and this is fun. And then all of a sudden we started getting brand partnerships and deals and contracts. And it's like, okay, now we're working together. Now we each have more of an opinion about how we want to be presented to the world in this aspect. And so then it was like, okay, all right, let's do this. And to me, it's something that I always desire. And I'm real deep. People prophesied this over our marriage, that we would work side by side in ministry and business. Oh, so I knew that would be something, a component in our marriage. But when it started happening, I was so happy that, wow, we're actually doing this. But the reality of it is that it's not easy. Even though we're graced for it, I think we just have a grace to make it look easy sometimes. But behind the scenes, we are very critical of one another. But I love it, because there's no one who's going to tell me the things that Jared would tell me, like he would tell me. Sometimes your friends, your friends are very supportive, but they don't always give you the critical criticism that you really need, not just what you want to hear. And so I love that. So we've groomed one another and helped, kind of like the iron sharpening iron. It hurts sometimes, but it's been so edifying. Like, he came up and set up the lights for me, and we just work together as a team. I love it. I can see why it's not for everyone, because we have such a we interact with one another at such a high level. It has caused us to have to communicate at such a high level that most people don't communicate with. Like, we talk about children and breakfast and business and money and finances and partnerships all in one day, all during the day, 24/7. We're together all day long. So that is not easy for everyone, but it has caused us to be so close in a way that is just unimaginable. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah. Okay, I will adopt that perspective. Thank you. I needed to hear that. Because I think sometimes your spouse, they see you at your vulnerable moments too. They see you when you're like, "Oh, I just got a gym membership," and then the next day you're like, I can't even get out the bed." You know what I mean? Like, so they see you when you're up and they see you when you're down. So it's like, sometimes that vulnerable space, you don't want to be judged in that space. But I love the idea of iron sharpens iron, because it might hurt a little bit, but that they'll tell you the truth.
Absolutely. I think also it's like another level of accountability. It's like, you can't just say one thing on the screen and then live your life another way. It causes you to have to marry both of them. And that is hard for people. It really is. But I like it, because I always want to be better. Jared and I are both the same. Like, we always want to be better, even if it hurts, even if we don't want to hear X, Y, and Z. But it's like, hey, babe, you said this, and we don't want to be living one way in our private life, but portraying something else in our public life. So let's keep it real. And I'm gonna tell you, like, that wasn't right.
Hey, Brandon, we'll work on the terms for this, because he's blunt. I mean, Brandon, man, I tell you, he'll chop you up, but in love. And sometimes you need that. Yes. Tracy says that's wonderful. Sasha is cracking up at you guys. Gandhi, my cousin, says for real. Yes. Brandon says that's awesome. That is awesome. I think that's to be desired, because if you guys, the success that you guys have and get, you both are going to share in that. So why not share in the working together? Why not share in the the cultivating and the grind, you know, behind the scenes that nobody sees.
Right.
Sabrina says, got to keep it 100.
Yes.
I honestly value honesty and truth probably more than anything else with myself. That's why I'm like so hard on being truthful and honest with myself, and then having these uncomfortable conversations. And I'm learning how to do that in my marriage and in my friendships. I felt like 2018, 2019 was the year of uncomfortable conversations. Like I had to have them with my boss, like with friends, and like, you know, whether it was like sticking up for myself and how I feel or what wasn't right, you know, it was tough, but we have to be able to have those conversations. So I want to know, talking about conversations, and yes, last week we talked about having those brave conversations about justice and everything that's happening. How have you guys, like, as a family, like, been processing everything? Like, you know, it's a lot, and there are a lot of layers to which you could feel it. You know, you're a mom, you're a Christian, you know what I mean? Like, knowing you in college, you were very, you were an advocate for, you know, for Black people, people of color, like very supportive and love. You were one of the people that always stood out to me that I was like, I love the way that she loves her culture. You know what I mean? And where she's come from, and the people, you know, and your family and stuff. So, I mean, yeah, like what has that been like for you guys?
Wow, this time has been very interesting. What I've learned is that the Black experience is so different. And Jared and I came from different backgrounds. Like I said, he grew up in Japan, but his parents are from Chicago. You know, they've dealt with gangs and violence and stuff like that. But he's also been inundated in a multicultural, you know, environment for a lot of times. And for me, coming from Jacksonville, I went to predominantly Black school and elementary school, and my neighborhood has always been predominantly Black. Then I went to diverse schools in middle school and high school, but at the same time we had race issues in our school, like being on the same cheerleading squad, and the white girls didn't talk to the Black cheerleaders. We're on the same team, but outside of practice, even during practice, we didn't talk to each other. And also knowing like where the KKK was, I knew what street not to go down at a certain time because we knew where the KKK was. So it was my perception of, you know, white people, let's just be honest, white people, and just being in that, it made for a lot of uncomfortableness. Even coming to UCF, I remember the first time this white guy spoke to me, we were in the Burger King line. No white guy ever initiated a conversation with me until college. So that was very hard for me because he asked me how I was doing, and I was like looking around like, are you talking to me? And he genuinely was just asking about my day, and I was shaking on the inside because I didn't know how to respond to him. So it's just so many dynamics. So coming in with that mindset and that experience and dealing with this now, first, I want to say that this is the first time ever that we've been able to express our history with racism and our experiences. And a lot of us are uncovering old wounds that we've never been able to talk about before. So for me, I had to relive those times where I was excluded and I was called a nigger and I was called a Black bee. And I never processed that because I never had a safe place to do that. We did in social work. I'm thankful for being a social worker because we did have moments in our class time where I love social work. We were able to bring our cultural experiences, and it was such an understanding environment. But other than that, I've had to process those things at home again and tell my husband about those things that I just never talked about before. Because they just live with me on the inside. And so now processing it as a family is checking up with each other, asking Jared, like, how do you feel about this as a Black man? You know, and yeah, just really asking and really experiencing. We had an experience in Apopka not too long ago where an officer was telling us to make a right turn for no reason. And he just kept yelling, make a right turn, and put his hand on his gun. So we're just like, why is this happening? And Jared wanted to, he's naturally, I want to respond and I want to ask you questions and I want to do, and I'm like, babe, let's just stay safe. And so we ended up leaving the scene and having to process that together. I cried immediately. And he's like, I'm okay. Like, I'm okay. Nothing happened. I'm like, but I know what could have happened. And now I'm thinking about, because I know your personality, I want you to be safe in this world. And I want my husband, home safely.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, processing it for us is just asking each other, how are you feeling? And sometimes it's like, babe, can you turn that off? Because I can't listen to any more of it, because I reached my peak, even though he may not have. I'll be like, hey, can you put on your AirPods? And I'm like, no, I'm just not ready. Him respecting that. So we've been doing a lot of that and talk whenever we need to. So.
Yeah. I know your kids are, I don't know if they're probably too young to have that conversation right now. Yeah. But man, I'm your friend and I never even knew some of the things that you just shared. And it just kind of reveals how, like you said, everyone in this experience has had their own experience. And the situations that we saw, and now feeling where people are actually listening, it's kind of it's making us deal with our trauma, whether it was a good experience or negative experiences, with just anyone, Black or white, really having to unpack how that's just been so hidden and embedded, but subconsciously it's still there. Like, you and Jared were in the same car, but y'all are having two completely different experiences. Like, he's seeing it through his lens and you're seeing it through the lens of what you have known to be true. That's been tough. I would say that, I guess what I am appreciative about this time is that it has opened my eyes. It's opened my eyes to see not just myself, my own experiences, but to see my spouse's experiences, to see my friends and their experiences, my guy friends that are girls, really to see how everyone has navigated this whole color, race thing, what their experiences have been, and how that contributes to who they are now and how they see the world. Hi, Anissa. Hi, Anissa. Thank you for hopping in. So it's also actually led to a lot of uncomfortable conversations, even with my spouse. Because I think I had turned a blind eye to some of the things that he was experiencing now, even just being a pilot, where he's probably one of the only people, he is the only, person in his class. And then on campus, it's probably like one or two people that he'll run into, and just kind of like all the things that are unsaid, I reposted something I saw the other day, and it's hit me. And I reposted it because I had been feeling this way internally. And I felt like, okay, this is exactly how I feel. I felt like with everything that was happening in the world, it made me want to make sure that, like you said, my home was a safe space, where we could talk about it, where we could not talk about it, right? Where we can shut it down, like, okay, we're not bringing, the foolishness in here. But if we needed to sit and cry, or if we needed to, talk about something that happened, that we could, it made me want to check myself and to see if I was adding to the negativity that he may have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Have you had that experience, or, felt that way?
Yeah, I think, scrolling on social media, we've seen a lot of opinions, and it's been very, very noisy, I would say. But I've seen so many different opinions, and I've seen this meme. Essentially, it was basically like, I want to love a Black man so much that he comes home to be a safe place. You've seen that meme, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I do. But this time, honestly, has been a mirror for me. And I'm like, although I have similar sentiments, I'm like, how am I adding to Jared's experience as a male, because I never really, I'm very pro women empowerment. My minor is in women's studies. I was in the Black Female Development Circle. Like, I'm all about women power. And I always wanted like my husband to deal with the men stuff, you know. But a lot of times I don't sit and think about the male experience. And so just really as a wife, it made me look at myself as a wife, as a believer. How am I making my husband feel like a king? Do I belittle him when I'm at home? How am I talking to him? Am I acknowledging his feelings? Or do I dismiss them, like our experiences as a whole, as our community is dismissed? Because men may process their emotions differently, and it may cause you to think that they don't have any emotions and they're okay. But in reality, I've talked to Jared, and I may cry, but he may go and think while I'm sleeping. He's up scrolling and thinking about X, Y, and Z. So I have to ask him, like, babe, how are you doing? How are you processing this? Because I know you process it differently, and you're not necessarily going to initiate the conversation. So let me initiate it for you to show you that I care. Let me be soft in my response and not be nagging you all day long, because I can nag, you know. If I
have a minor in nagging, my husband. Yes. This is good.
It's really caused this situation has caused it to really be a mirror to me, like, how do I treat my husband, and how can I make him feel like the best guy, the most valuable guy in the world, you know? So I had to really look back and see, like, okay, Kiara, you're not doing a great job in certain areas, and really ask him, and him say that, yeah, babe, I want to feel this, and I don't feel this right now. And I'm like, that doesn't feel good to know as a wife. I'm not doing all that I can to make my husband feel, you know, his best. But asking those tough questions and being able to receive it and also act upon it is important. And that's just something that we do.
This is so good. This is so good, Kiara. I think like you hit something here, and this is real, especially for us as women, because I don't know. I think maybe because men pursue the women, you know, we expect them to still pursue us emotionally, physically, you know, financially, everything when we, you know, continue in our relationships. But I think there comes a time when you really have to, like you said, evaluate how we're building them up. I was on a call with Ayanla Van Zant, and we were processing the pain of everything that happened. And she said something very bold, and it made me, you know, look at myself. She said, she asked, okay, whatever happens, we can't change what happened, but we have to evaluate that in regards to ourselves and what we are doing. Brittany says, pursue your man.
Brittany.
And she was saying, I know we're talking about the injustices that have happened in the world, but what about in our homes? Like, who's, you know, who are you, you know, literally suffocating? Who are you, like, silencing their voice? And it made me think, like, oh man, have I made space for my spouse? You know what I mean? Or is this house just my space where I need to get my feelings out, and you need to help me? You know what I'm saying? You need to help me understand, and, you know, just, you know, it's all about me. You know what I mean? Or am I literally making a space and having the patience? Because I love what you said. I feel like men aren't used to someone being like, tell me how you feel, and sitting there and listening and letting them go around and give you the one word answers until they actually hit on something that they can, you know, that they can actually share. Like, how can we as women make space, you know, for our men, for our sons, for our fathers? Or do we just expect them to have it all together? And I think subconsciously we do, because there's a lot of pressure on us as women in our workplaces, having to prove ourselves, and, you know, you know what I mean? And all the things that we fight for as women on a daily basis. So when I come home, I'm not saying I don't want to fight for you, but it's like, I want somebody to fight for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, however, all of this has opened up my eyes and my heart to see how are we making spaces for their voices, you know, for their pain, for their trauma, for their aspirations, for their mistakes. You know what I mean? Or are we just another condemning voice that says all the things negative that we're telling the world, not to say to them.
Right. Oh my gosh. I love that. I think it's so true. I think because naturally I'm the same way. Like, this is my house and my world. Like, everything's all about me. And we had that discussion, like, this is so selfish. And realizing that, wow, I really do see my life like, you're here to help me. And that is not the case. We're called to help them. But how often are we there to really ask them, what do you need help with? Versus like, help me with this and I need you to do this. And Jared is amazing at that. But I realized within myself, and Holy Spirit showed me that, what are you doing to help him? What are you doing to help him build up his vision? Why do you always have something to say? Why can't you listen?
Slow the beep down, Kiara. Oh man, I'm getting uncomfortable right now. I really am getting uncomfortable.
It's okay. It's okay. We have very gracious husbands though. So
we do. But imagine how on top of the world they could be if they knew that if we could serve in that way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like if we could lift them up in that way. Jared said, keep your Brittany says, respect their space, make space, ask what are the plans for the week.
Mm-hmm.
What do you need this week, babe? That's great, Brittany.
I love that. That's true.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Sasha says, eek, we're called to help them.
I know, like we forgot.
Where they say that at? The Bible? Okay. I didn't read that verse. Allison says, it's too much. Right. I'm with you, Allison, because I was like, whoa. Fancy says, that's real. Our husbands are grace for us and are not. Yo, seriously, I feel like, in the next 7 years, Psycho Brand is going to reap everything he's sown into me. I'm feeling props. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just came into my voice. Like, I just came to realize that, okay, I'm a force to be reckoned with. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm just coming into my power, and I feel like sometimes we can be bulldozing. Mm-hmm. We can be a bulldozer. And we don't mean to do that damage, but I think we just got to look in the mirror. We just got to look in the mirror and see if that's the case. I was on a call with my niece. She's also in your field. And we were talking about relationships. And she said that one thing that she asked her husband that really changed the dynamic of their relationship was, who's your biggest encourager? Like, who's your biggest encourager? And when do you feel the most like competent? Like, when do you feel like you can like kill it and win? And she had to evaluate, was I a part of that? You know what I mean? Like, had I fostered an environment or situations or circumstances that led to that type of, efficacy.
Jesus.
So that's a good question to ask the men in our lives, the friends in our lives. Who's your biggest encourager? And tell me the truth, and not that we have to be all things to all, not that we have to be someone's everything, but I think we just have to look at where we are. Anissa says, ouch, I need a Band-Aid. Saja says, Brandon will sow what he has sown into you. He will reap. Yes, Brittany says, oh man, my cousin's on here. Good morning, Pat.
Hey, cousin.
Ooh. Brittany says, you are heading into my corner. Get out of here. This is good. This is really good, Kiara. And I love that we were both kind of thinking that, but it's something to articulate it. Because when you articulate it, you can hold yourself accountable. Mm-hmm. And when you articulate it to your spouse, they can have that expectation. Man. Okay, so have you heard, and you guys, ladies, tell me if you've heard this, be his peace, sis. That whole quote, be his peace. Tell me what you think about that quote. I would love to hear it. I have some beliefs about that quote. Kiara, of course, I want to know what you think about it. But
Okay.
the idea that we're supposed to be his peace or a place of peace, yeah, you guys tell me what you think. Kiara says no, but I'll save it and take it under consideration. Yeah. What do you think about that? Have you heard that saying, be his peace?
I never heard that.
You heard
But
it?
I mean, it goes into the same sentiments of other things I've seen. Be his peace. Wow. When I hear that, it's like so many layers to it. One, I do want to be his safe place. You know, out of all the places in the world, I want him to come home, and this is his safe place. This is where he can be refreshed, refueled, not nagged at. And I'm not saying I'm perfect in this area, but I recognize that I can do better. But we always have this about our home. Like, it's kind of like our sanctuary. That's what we called it. So we don't allow a lot of people in. We don't allow a lot of things or certain types of things to play in our home, because it is our safe place and our sanctuary. Now, me being his peace, I don't know. It's so many layers to that. I want to be a safe place. I don't know what that means. I mean, I would have to ask Jared, like, do you want me to be your peace? I don't know what that means. Like, I don't know. I'm too noisy. Like, I talk a lot. I don't know what that means.
Brandon says, be his peace. LOL. Yeah, tell us what you think, Felicia.
Oh,
Felicia. I hear his voice.
What do you think about that? He said, nah. Oh, he doesn't want me to be his peace. Okay.
Good. We got some good thoughts on this. Sasha says, I think we have a role in being peaceful. Oh, come on, Sasha. And loving. Okay. But not in being his peace. That'll depend on his relationship with God.
I love that. That's a winner.
Snaps to you, Sasha. Snaps to you. Brittany said something. I thought God needs to be his peace. However, I can be his helper. Okay. Right. I love it. I love it. I love it. Fancy says, I can be his safe place. He has one less thing to think about as the head of the household. Oh, I love that. I love that. I love that. God is our
peace.
Yes.
That's it.
That's it. Honestly, I feel like that's too much responsibility.
Right.
To be somebody's peace. I can be a representation of the peace of God by not adding drama and, like you said, nagging and doing all those things. However, I don't take the responsibility to be your peace. You really got to lean into God for that. But I do want to support. I do want to be in an environment where you can live that and feel the love of God and the peace of God and be your helper. Right. And that's interesting, because I guess I haven't really, you really shook my world when you said, how are we helping them with their dreams? And I think, or even just helping them in general. You know what I mean? Because I don't think that's something it's like on my to-do list. How do I help Brandon today? However, what if I did say, make sure to check in with Brandon, see if there's anything I can help him with, you know, whether it's, and I might be surprised what I find, you know, because I think sometimes we look at guys or men and we're just like, oh, you ain't doing nothing. You know what I mean? Like, not necessarily not doing anything, but like when I know the capacity of what you have inside of you versus like how you're showing up in your life. Like, I see it. I see that you're great, you know, but what's the disconnect? Maybe it's us. I don't know. I'm not saying that's the pressure we need to have on ourselves, but what if we could, you know, be that little push? Somebody says Sasha is preaching. I'm trying to learn from y'all while I'm in training. Almost there. Girl, we need to have some conversations, because you got to come to the house for those conversations. We'll have
I love Sasha.
Good conversation. Jared said you should know and have experienced peace before marriage. You trying to be on the show, Jared? Are you trying to be a guest on the show? I love that. I love that. So that's interesting. Yes, I've seen that around. Be his peace. I don't agree. I don't take that pressure. However, I think that I do want to represent the peace of God in his life and in our safe space and in our marriage. in our marriage. Oh, I love it. I love it. So I don't even know how long we've been talking, like literally like
44 minutes.
Oh, that's so good. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I definitely want to transition a little bit. And you guys, if you have any questions or if Kiara said anything that was amazing, please tag her. Please write it in there. Because one, I want her to know how amazing she is. But two, we just want to know that we are resonating with you guys. And if you have any questions, I would love to get Kiara's view on those things, whether it's marriage, family, navigating the crises that we are in, the pandemic, and also racial injustice, and what that means for our homes, for our relationships, and also I know you did your intimacy challenge, and I know that you thought that was just something you did on a whim, but that was really great. Your intimacy challenge was so awesome. So and not just for like your partner, but like with God, your spouse, your friends. So sometimes things that we navigate, like this pandemic, or even the issues of racial justice and how traumatic that has been for us as a people, can put up barriers with our intimacy with friends, with our spouse, whether that's physical or emotional intimacy. And so, did you experience any of that? And if so, how did you navigate that?
Barriers to intimacy, you say?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm not sure if the pandemic necessarily caused that. I think we try to keep that a focus. It's always a revolving conversation, like making sure that we are intimate, and that is not only physically, but definitely physically, and then emotionally, and just really making sure we are having, like, our connection is really tight.
Yeah.
So we prioritize intimacy in our marriage, but I think that in this time, it can be big for a lot of people. It's interesting because a couple years ago, we were on a trip and we met a person who was a sex therapist. And Jared had this conversation with her and shared it with me. And it was great because she was saying that, of course, sex is a physical thing, but it's so much more, especially for men and for women. So when as it pertains to sex, even though that's not the totality of intimacy, but that's what we're going to talk about. So for sex, for a man, it's like, it doesn't matter what's going on in the world. Let me have sex and I will feel better about the world. And for women, it's like, when my world is okay, then I'll be comfortable to have sex. So she broke it down and said that sometimes people don't realize that their physical intimacy is lacking when there are financial issues. Yeah. If you don't know how you're going to pay your bills and you guys are having a rough time with your finances, it causes you to withdraw in that area. Yeah. If your house is not clean and in order, it causes you to feel like, I mean, my environment isn't stabilized to where I want to be passionate, you know, in this certain area right now. Or if we're just not in a good place communicating, like we are not on the same page. Why do I want to have sex with you if we're not even on the same page? You know, that's what goes through the woman's mind. And I think because of this pandemic, the COVID-19 and the racial injustice, it can affect all of those areas. Some people lost their jobs. Some people had to be in the house together more than ever. They had to spend more hours with their spouse than ever before. And that's different because sometimes for people, they have two separate lives. Like, they go out and you have your work life and, you know, you have fun out there, and then you come home and, you know, you're home only for a couple hours, a couple waking hours, and then you go to sleep and then you go back into your other world. But for some people, they had to bring those worlds together, and that's very difficult, especially if they haven't spent that much time with one another before, on top of having kids at home. It's a lot of different things. So I know that people are having a difficult time in intimacy right now, which is why we're doing a date night challenge right now. So that spouses can actually connect and have fun again, so that they can talk about, you know, what's really happening and get out of their normal environment. Or even if you have a date night at home, you know, going to another room and doing something fun. So
yes, I love that. And I am actually going to share with everyone a link for the book, because then you can get more information on the book. And I would love for you guys to just get it today if you haven't already. If you have purchased the book already, please let me know. I love that you did this date night challenge, only because, I mean, things kind of got really muddy, you know, and decisions kind of got like some decisions were wiped away and then other decisions we had to make about other things. And so for you guys to kind of just map that out, I just thought was so considerate. And I think it's important for us to focus on joy. So I am, hopefully it pulls, I'm trying that out. Yes, that link right there will take you right to her book, and it's 101 date night ideas, right?
Yes, and why you should keep dating your spouse.
I love that. I love that. I think that's kind of like a really, really good support of everything we're talking about today. And it's so cool because this is really who you guys are. Like, I remember when you first got married and you had some popsicle sticks and, you know, like in your jar. And it was like, these are all the ideas of things we could do for date night. And you pick it out and you'd be like, go to Daytona. And then you got to go to Daytona. I'm like, that's so cool. So this is really like authentic for you guys. You live this, you preach this, and I'm excited. Even if you're not married, I would say get it because
absolutely.
One, you know, that status can change. However, it'd be a great gift for someone, especially now when our options kind of have come down a little bit. This boost of creativity will really kind of spark things and bring back that joy and keep our home that place of peace and a safe place, you know? So I love that. I love that. Awesome. So I'm feeling good about our conversation today. I'm really looking at myself like, okay, you've been doing a great job, but here's ways, you know, I'm passionate about creating space and for women, for conversations, for change. And I think I don't want to leave men out of that conversation. I don't know that I can pioneer that. And, you know, I'm praying for the men who are going to step up and lead that movement. But that doesn't mean that we can't make space as women in our hearts and in our homes, and that we can, you know, do what we can to fight for peace in our homes and make that a place where, you know, we can really we can unpack and also be built up, you know, which I think is so important right now. But I'd love for you, if there's anything else on your heart that you might want to share, maybe you have some thoughts, some pointers, some tips, or anything else like on Kiara's heart. I'd love for you to just share that with us.
Oh gosh, you're putting me on the spot. I don't know. I just want people during this time to really strengthen your foundation in your family and in your marriage, because what an unprecedented time, you know? I know some people are headed back to work and things, honestly, I don't think will ever be the same or go back to normal. But I think I made a post about us creating a new normal. Like, what's a new normal for your family dynamic? Like, what's really important for you guys? I realized that vacations are really important for us, and just having time to get away from our normal environment, because everything we do is at our home. You know, our company is social media based, but we also do photography, but social media management. So we're home. We're on a computer all day. So it's important for us to get out and do something new and fun. So I'm excited for the world to really open up a little bit more so I can get out and do stuff with my kids, especially now that my baby is older. But other than that, just really wanting people to just prioritize fun again, and just, you know, it's a very serious time, but it doesn't have to be so serious and stoic at home. Just laugh again. Oh my gosh, Jared caught this video of me. Maybe he might post it, I don't know. But I was dancing and I was just being silly. I can't really dance, although I really love to dance.
Wow, I've never heard you say that before.
I can't, but I try. Like, that's my happy place. People don't know I'm a singer and I'm a worshiper by nature, but dancing is like where I come alive, even though it doesn't look that great, but I know God loves it. But anyway, so Jared caught this video of me dancing, and it was just like a fun moment. I'm so glad he caught that, because it was, I didn't know he was recording, but it was just like fun, like just have fun and dance and put on good music, you know? Yeah.
I love that. I love that. Have fun. Don't let nobody take your joy. Brittany says the ribbons. You know, if you don't have these ribbons by now, Brittany and I are going to get you.
They're in my cart. They're in my cart for Amazon.
Order them today. Okay. I absolutely love that. I want to hear you guys out there. Taisha said, agreed, sis, agreed. Bree said, so good. It is so good, Kiara. We have to protect our peace, and that means protecting our joy, and that means having fun. And I think part of making it a safe space is also just enjoying life with each other. Mm-hmm. Even in the midst of the chaos, you know, we could be in a storm, but the storm doesn't have to be in us. It doesn't have to be in our homes. So that's why I love that you put this book out right now. Like, I want you to shout it from the mountaintops. Like, everybody needs to get this book because it is something else that you don't have to think of. It makes it easy, and it'll help you to remember what life is about, you know, and just keep that fire and that spark alive, which is going to help on so many levels, right? Help us to be better with each other, better friends, better for our kids, you know, if we have that element with us. Okay, so that's so good, so good. If you guys have any other thoughts, any questions for Kiara, I would. She said, "Give us the link to the book." I thought I just posted it, but let me see. If you guys don't see it, let me know.
Yes, let me know. I'll try to. Yes, if you go to www.meetthemasonstoday.com, then you'll see it there. I know Felicia's going to work on getting the link up there as well.
Yes, I'm posting it in our platform, but if you don't see it, Bree, let me know. I also just texted to you if you could post it for us. Can you give us a snippet of like a fun date idea that you have in the book?
So every week, if you guys want to join the date night challenge, DM me your email so I can add you to our mailing list. So every week is a different theme. So the first week was doing a daring, it's DATE date. But the first week was doing a daring date, and the next this week was an at-home date. So last week we did a daring one, and we wanted to go to an obstacle course. Yeah, it started already.
Okay, can people still join even if
you can still join. Yes, you can still join.
Okay.
We were supposed to do a daring date night, and I wanted to go to this obstacle course in Lake Mary, and you can do zip lining and stuff. I don't like zip lining, but I was just gonna, thug it out for the purpose of the challenge. We really do this challenge with you guys, and honestly, it's not because we're like experts at dates and experts at marriage. It's like, no, we want to be challenged too, so we do it.
I love it.
So we commit, and one of the challenge, so because we couldn't go to the obstacle course, we looked through the list again, and we did number 87, which was dice, drive, and date. And so basically you have to get a dice and you roll the dice, and that will tell you how many turns you're going to make as far as streets. And then basically at the end of it, by the however many turns you make or whatever, you have to do a date in whatever area you land in. So we almost were headed to Mount Dora, and my heart was racing because I'm like, that I wasn't trying to go to Mount Dora.
Oh my gosh.
But we actually have a vlog on it on our YouTube channel. We're YouTubers if you didn't know. So Meet the Masons is our YouTube channel. So our last vlog, we actually vlogged the day, and we ended up in the plaza with Hobby Lobby, which is where we actually wanted to go.
Perfect. That's my kind of date right there.
Yes. And then we tried a new restaurant, which is the Fresh Kitchen. Have you tried that one?
Ooh.
It's like a Chipotle. It's they have like a magenta. I love their colors, magenta and white. But anyway,
I've seen their things. I have a friend that works in one of them.
Oh yeah, it was really, really good and fresh. But yeah, so we went there, and so that was daring for us because we honestly did not know where we were gonna land, and thankfully the Lord was on my side, and we landed in Hobby Lobby.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I love that. And yes, and Jared just gave us the link there, and we put the link for the book. Y'all get the book for you, get it for a friend, get it for the couples in your crew, do the dates together. If you're single, you can do the dates with friends. I definitely had date nights when I was single with my roommates, and that was fun. That was fun. I was living my insecure life back in the day. But yes, okay, we did have a question that came up, and Brandon wants to know, how do you and Jared plan on talking about race and social injustices to your children when they get older?
I love that question, Brandon. I don't always have popular opinions. Felicia and I talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
I am a social worker by trade. So people don't know what social workers are all the time. We don't just take kids from their home. We actually are mental health counselors as well, but our focus is on the totality of the person. So looking at the community that they're raised in, the family dynamics, their personality, and their mental health. But sometimes, well, psychologists only look at the mental health, but we look at the whole picture. And we work with social injustices and people who are underserved and things like that. So nonetheless, someone asked me that as well, and they have a 5-year-old, but I have a 2-year-old. River she's very much like her dad. I'm an introvert. Jared is very much so an extrovert. He waves to everybody. They don't have to wave back. Me, if I think you're gonna wave back, I'll wave. But if you're not, if I feel like you're not, I ain't gonna say that. So River is very like, she sees people playing in the community. We live in a multicultural community, and she's like, hi. And sometimes they don't wave back. And that angers me for whatever reason. Maybe you didn't hear them, or maybe it's because we're Black. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
But she is very open and, wants to interact with a lot of people. So I don't hold that back from her, even though me naturally, I wouldn't acknowledge those people, or I would be angry at X, Y, and Z, but I let her be herself. I also watched this video where this young girl, she was probably about 8 years old, and this white police officer, a female police officer, approached her, and she was bawling. And she was bawling because she has been exposed to all that is happening right now. And it broke my heart because she was exposed to what's happening, and I think that they should. However, I believe you should protect the innocence of a child. The way I was raised, they taught me about white supremacy and the man is trying to hold you back, and you can't trust white people. So I looked at life through the lens of what I was taught. And I don't necessarily want to tell my children that white people may treat you a certain way because of the color of your skin. I'd rather her, and I'm going to tell her when she's of age to really understand it, but in her terms right now as a little child, I can say, hey, there are little green bears and there are purple bears. And sometimes the green bears don't want to talk to the purple bears because they have purple skin, and that's not nice, because green bears and purple bears can be friends together. Yeah. I want to communicate that to her on her level, but I don't want her to be in a place where, River, do you know that you're a Black little girl? Do you know that your white friends may not like you? Because she's not ready for that. Yeah. And I don't want her to see the world through that screen. But I know there's a day that's going to come where she may be sitting at a table and a white friend may say, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to be your friend. Or she may feel excluded. I want her to be able to always be able to come to me and talk to me about it. Yeah. And then I'll be able to introduce that to her. But I don't want to taint her vision of the world and cause her to not interact with the myriad of people that are here, because everyone isn't the enemy. And I want her to understand that we are called to be peacemakers, and we are called to reconcile. And I want you to be free to love and not view through the lens of hatred that I was raised to view life through.
Ooh, I love that, Kiara. Thank you for sharing your opinion. Who cares if it's unpopular? I value, a lot of what you said. And what I love about it is that you're starting the conversation with her about differences and how people, you know what I mean, just even at her level. So it's not even a Black and a white thing. It's just some people are not nice, and we can be nice to everyone, because that's something that she might understand, and something that she may be able to internalize. I should be nice to people, at her young and tender age. That's so good. That's so good. Thank you. Thank you. Brittany agrees with you. Brandon says everyone isn't the enemy. I love that. If we can raise our children to be aware, but not, I don't have another word that starts with A. I'm so used to alliterating.
I know, right?
Aware, but not arrested.
Right.
Aware, but not like held back. I think, everything that I do is at the intersection of faith. So if it's mental health, it's at the intersection of faith. If it's culture, it's at the intersection of faith. If it's entertainment, it's at the intersection of faith. And with injustice and race, I think I'm intersecting that with faith. And I think it's important for us to, like we were saying, build them up to believe about them what God says about them, and believe about other people what God says about them, despite how they are acting or how they might manifest and show up. And that's a task. But if anybody can do it, I know that you and Jared can do it. So let us know how that goes.
Yes,
Please continue to share those conversations with us. I love it. I love your boldness and your bravery to share your life, and to help people and encourage people through your content. So like she said, they're on YouTube. You can catch them. Shaniqua says, hey.
Hey, Major.
Brandon is clapping. Brandon, what did you just clap for? We just said so many things. We want to know specifically what but yes. I had an amazing time with you, Kiara. How was your time?
Oh my gosh, this was amazing. I just want to say thank you so much, Felicia, because yes, I'm about to come, because it's a big deal when you share your platform with someone else. That means you trust their voice. So I never take it lightly when anyone invites me to speak on their platform. Like, you trust my voice, you trust me, and I appreciate that. I don't take it lightly, and I'm thankful for it. And I'm just glad that, we were able to display just a glimpse, because our conversations go deep.
Equator deep.
Yes, very deep. I thrive on those conversations. I absolutely love them. That is who I am. I love the deep waters. So I'm glad that we were able to just, have this chat and kind of display just a glimpse of what we do in private.
Yeah, just a glimpse. There will be hopefully more opportunities to dive in and show people. But Kiara, I love you. Thank you. Please love on Kiara and tell her how awesome she is. Brandon says, I'm very proud of you both. A really insightful and real conversation. I think it was a real conversation too.
Yes, that's what I
think it was a brave and a conversation. And so thank you so much, Kiara, for spending the morning with us.
Yeah, this was so fun.
It was fun. I had fun, and I can't wait to do some of the dates in your book. And I'm excited to see more of your lifestyle content and your partnerships. Y'all have been killing it. Keep doing it. Keep doing the thing. Alexis says, you are awesome, Kiara.
I love you, friend.
That's a good friend to get up and post on here. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. We absolutely love you. Please like this if you haven't shared it. If you haven't, let's let people know how help people navigate these times and how to build up our homes and start with our heart in our homes. So, I'm going to end with this. Well, all right. That's what we're talking about. That's 101 date ideas. Right. Now, that one didn't make it in the book. But love you, Kiara. Love you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this morning.
Love you too. See y'all later. Bye.